Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to day 3 of the week of colour. Welcome to Wednesday. In today's video I'm going to be creating a look with my 2 favourite colours. So if you haven't seen the previous 2 videos on my channel, I am hosting a week of colour on YouTube and also on Instagram, wherever it is that you delve into the world of beautiful, colourful makeup. I invite you to partake in this week as well. I will put the graphic that I created with all of the different prompts for the whole week. So we already did a floral inspired look for Monday and a look including our favourite special shimmery shade for look number 2. And then today we are creating a look with our 2 favourite colours. So my colours, if you are interested in the vibe that we are going for today, my colours are teal and purple. I just love basically any look that I've ever done with teals and purples. They are always my favourite. I love them. I love the colours together. I've got a vision of what I want to do today because I feel like every time I do a teal and purple look, I do darker purples on the outer corner going into like a brighter sort of teal turquoisey shade further in. I want to flip that around today, so I want to do more darker greens on the outer corner with like a bright lilac. And I've got a vision. I think I know what I want to do. So we're going to be using 2 of my favourite palettes from last year. So we've got the Dark Dreamscape and the Ocean Jewel, both Bella Beauty Bar palettes. I think if I remember rightly, these ranked number 1 and number 2 from last year. I love these. I love these colour stories. So we're going to be diving into these today. And I think I also want to use, because I got this out for the video yesterday and I was like, oh, this is just so hard. I think I want to use this shade down here to match the like lilac-y vibes. This is Prism from the Pastel Roses, so I think we're going to use that one as well. I have already got my Beauty Bay eyeshadow primer on, so let's just get on into it. I would love to hear what colours you would pick if you are partaking in this day or not. I know some people are just doing one day, some people are just doing a few. Either way, I would absolutely love to hear what colours you would pick for this prompt if you are partaking or not. And if you are, don't forget to tag me so that I can see your looks as well. I am like creating playlists and making sure everybody gets the big shout out that you deserve. So I'm just tapping the creases out in the Beauty Bay eyeshadow primer. Let's zoom on in and start the look for day number 3. So I'm going to start with one of the matte shades from the Ocean Jewel palette. I'm going to go in with Sunken Treasure, this beautiful teal shade here. And like I say, I've already got the eyeshadow primer on. I just did the one shade all over. I may go in with the white like further in, but we will cross that bridge when we get to it. And I'm just going to take that Sunken Treasure shade out like above the crease on the outer corner. I think I want to do something quite rounded today because I also have the Make a Mark liquid liners from Made by Mitchell in purple and like a turquoisey tealy green shade. So I think I want to do like the opposite of the eyeshadows. So like the green further in and the purple further out to like contrast the look. I feel like I've got a vision. You just need to let me get it out. So let's just start working on this Sunken Treasure shade further out above the crease. I really want to see a lot of this shade because I love it. Like I say, these 2 Bella Beauty Bar palettes, I'm fairly certain they were number 1 and number 2 for my whole year palette ranking for last year. I absolutely love these tones. Like just looking at these palettes gets me so inspired. I love them. And in case you are wondering, these under eye patches are the Pixie ones. They are the dreamy eye replenishing patches, these ones, and they're green, so they sort of match the vibe. They sort of match the colour story that we are going for today. I'm just going to use that same brush, just wipe it off on my leg. And let's go in with a little bit of Sea Glass, this slightly brighter turquoisey shade here. And I'm going to use that to buff over the top edge. I have just brought that Sunken Treasure shade onto the lid a little bit because I'm going to go in with a darker shade from the Ocean Jewel. Let's go in with Shipwreck, this darkest like navy blue, and I'm using the same brush, but I'm just going to dip like the very tip of these bristles so that I don't get too much, because I do want it a little bit darker out here, but I don't want it to take away from the brightness of this delicious like teal turquoisey shade. But I do just want a little bit of depth right like on the lid, so I'm just using very small amounts, just dipping the very tip of this smaller brush into that darker shade, because like I said, I don't want it to overtake this beautiful bright teal. I love it. I love this colour. Oh, it's so pretty. And of course, if you haven't tried the Bella Beauty Bar formula, they are just beautiful. They're so pretty. So I'm happy with those for like my teal shades. Then let's go in with just another, like, in fact I'll use the same brush but a different one, so we'll have one for the teals and one for the purples. And I want to go in with the Dark Dreamscape, so I'm just setting the Ocean Jewel to the side for the minute because the purpley tones in this one are a little bit lighter and a little bit brighter, so we're gonna use a few of these. Let's start with, how do I want to do this? Let's start, I'm figuring this out as I go along. Let's start with Coexist, the brightest pastel lilac in this palette, and let's pack this on the inner part of the crease like so. So I've almost like blended that lighter teal like really above the crease into that lilac. And again, I will just use the same brush. I will go into Portal, this shade here, slightly brighter purpley tone, and I will put that a little bit further into the crease. Again, just light layers. Can always add more, can always add more. So just a few light layers of this Portal shade to really add some vibrancy to that purple. Yes, that's blending into that teal nicely as well. Like I say, I usually do like the purples on the outer corner going into like the brighter teal shades, like turquoisey shades on the inner corner. So it's interesting to see it this way. I don't know if I've ever used these colours this way before. I mean, I must have done at some point, but I am enjoying these colours this way around. It's giving me more inspiration. So I'm just adding a little bit more of that Coexist shade, that lightest purple, right up, like basically into the inner part of my brow bone, so that that lilac is really nice and bright up there. And then I think I'm ready for the shimmers. I think I want a teal shimmer going into that Pastel Roses one. So let me just swatch this Pastel Roses shade so that we can see the tone, so that we can see what this is going to look like on the eye. And this is Prism, and it's definitely more lilac, but it's got a really beautiful brightness to it. It's a very pretty shade. So I want that further in because that's definitely more purple, but I'm thinking more of a tealy darker shade on the outer corner. I think I'm leaning towards Mirror Image from the Dark Dreamscape palette. So I'm going to, how do I want to do this? I think I'm just going to use my finger. I think I'm just going to dip into Mirror Image, or I think that's the right decision. Let me just swatch that next to the Pastel Roses one. yeah, I think that's my plan. I think that's what I'm going to do. So let's take mirror image. Again, just on my finger, because these do lay down really, really beautifully by being like properly pressed in. Yes. Yes, so it's got purple in it. Obviously it's got some of those purpley tones in it, but it's still like mainly the delicious like tealy shade. Yes, I love that. I love shimmers. I actually don't know, like, one of the prompts that I've got coming up later in the week, is it tomorrow? No, I think it's the day after. An all matte look. And I'm like, I don't want to do an all matte look because I love glitter. I'm going to have to get a bit creative with that one. I mean, I'm getting a bit creative with all of them, frankly, but we will figure that out. We'll figure that out when we get to it. So I'm just tapping over the outer edge and also the top edge of that shimmer. Now let's go in with the pastel roses. I'm getting all excited about sparkly things, so again, I'm just going to use my finger because these press in best that way. Oh, that shade is delicious. And I'm going to pop that on the lid. Oh, further in. Oh, I love sparkly things. In a previous life I was a magpie. Oh, they're just so pretty. I love it. And again, even though this Pastel Roses shade is mostly purple, it does still have little glitters of those like tealy shades. I love it. I love it. So I'll just use that same small brush that I was using for the matte purples just to disperse that shimmer upwards. Honestly, I just want that to cover my whole body. I love it. I'm just going to take a slightly smaller fluffy brush into that Prism shade, the Pastel Roses Prism shade, just so that I can really disperse it out over those purple matte shades. Yeah. I love it when you can see like a lot of the shimmers like right up above the crease. I'm also thinking I might do more of like the teal sort of turquoisey pastel shade matte packed right onto the inner corner to be like, I don't know. I tell you multiple times I have no idea what I'm doing. I genuinely mean that. Just in everyday life I have no idea. But you know what I do know? I know I love glittery things. So I'm going to go ahead and take these eye patches off, clean up under the eyes. I'll do the rest of my face and then we can do something nice and smoky. We can put something right onto the inner corner. We can do that glittery jewel coloured wing and then we will be done. But I need to take these off and I need to do the rest of my face. Okay, so that's the rest of the face done. I've gone glowy, of course I have. So I'm going to go back in with that darkest like bluey shade that we put right here, which was Shipwreck. I'm going to just take a little bit more of that, literally dipping my brush like this, the tiniest little bit of that, because now I don't want any fallout. Now I'm worried about fallout, so I'm just going to take a really small amount of that because I did sharpen this up, but I do want to sort of soften it back out. I do want to make this quite rounded, and I'm just going to circle right onto the outer corner and then also under the eye a little bit. Tiny little motions. Like I say, I don't want this to take over. I don't want too much of this very, very dark shade. I want to keep it really nice and bright. Just like that. Then I will go back in with Sunken Treasure, which was that sort of mid-tone, bright teal shade, and I will run that further along, but again just sort of right next to the lash line. Really tapping the brush off. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of a shimmer on the lower lash line, so I'm not going to do that, but you absolutely could like mirror these shimmers and put the shimmers on the lower lash line as well to really tie those shades in. Shimmers on the lower lash line absolutely terrify me, so I'm not going to do that. So I think I'm happy with that. I'm going to just add a little bit of the Beauty Bay eyeshadow primer, the white one, right onto the inner corner, just really tight onto this part of the eye, and I will tap that out with a brush. A brush of some sort. I will tap this out, and then we can add, let's take this one, then we can add a little bit more of that sea glass, that brightest like turquoisey light shade. I want right on the inner corner, because of course I do. A nice matte turquoise in the corner. I'm never going to be mad at that. And you definitely don't need to add an eyeshadow primer, a white eyeshadow primer or anything. You don't need to, but I do feel like having that little bit of tack, firstly will stop this shade falling all over my face, and secondly will really just help intensify it. So I'm taking a pencil brush into Sea Glass. Let me just remind you, this one, taking some of that, which we already have up here. I'm taking that one on that pencil brush and tapping that onto the inner corner, so it will, yes, look at that, it will tie in with these shades that I've used to blend out the teal on the outer corner. I love it. I love that shade on the inner corner, but with the purples as well. I love it. And while I'm here, we may as well add more of that Sea Glass shade right up here. Just to really intensify that. I think I'm done. I think I'm done with the eyeshadow. So of course we're doing a wing. Of course we're doing a glittery wing. Of course we're doing a teal and a purple glittery wing. Of course we are. So I'm going to use the Made by Mitchell ones, and I'm going to do the, figuring out what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the green further in over the purpley shades, and then the purple further out over the teal shades. And I love these. I did a video, was it earlier this month? Was it last month, where I was going over all of my favourite eyeliners, liquid liners, pencils. I may get some sort of pencil for in the waterline. We'll figure that out. But if you're wanting to add a little bit of colour, if these looks that I've been doing this week have been like a lot for you and feel quite intimidating, I get that, I hear you. Try a liquid liner, try like a colourful liquid liner, it's a lot of fun. So I'm going to get really close to my mirror and do a purple, a green into a purple liquid liner, and then I'll figure something out for the waterline. I do think I want something, I don't know, maybe purple, maybe turquoise, I don't know. I'll find something for my waterline, but let me do this. Let me concentrate. So I don't know how well you'll be able to see, but I can see that green going into the purple. fun. And I did bring over, I've got a few different options for like a green, like a dark green or a dark purple, but this one is like teal into purple shifty. This is the Colourpop BFF Cream Gel Liner in Power Trip, and it is dark, but I don't feel like I've actually gone too dark on the eyes, so I'm thinking nice light little layer of this in the waterline. Let's just wait and see. I might hate it, in which case I can wipe it off, that's fine. No, that's fun. That is fun. I don't usually do like something in the waterline, but I quite like that. That's added a little bit of something, you know, just a little bit of something. So I'm going to just take that brush that had those teal shades on along the lower lash line, just to really smudge that out a little bit. I think I'm done. Let me just add a ton of mascara and then we are done for day number 3 of the week of colour. I've loved the other 2 looks that I've done, but obviously this one is like your 2 favourite colours. So I really, really like this one. The purple and the teal, big fan. There we go. So, just a small amount of mascara, you know, nothing too crazy. I actually don't know what a small amount of mascara is. Even when I genuinely only want a light layer, it always just ends up looking like this. I just love a lot of mascara, so there we go. A look with your 2 favourite colours. It was always going to be teal and purple. For like half a second, I considered doing more of like an orangey peach and purple. It's always going to be purple, but I'm very, very happy with how this has turned out. Let me just grab my torch so that you can see those delicious shimmers. So pretty. So, so pretty. So, there we are. Day number 3, Wednesday, for the week of colour. I'm thrilled. So, like I say, I would love to hear what colours you would pick. Leave your colours down below in the comment section in emoji form. So whether that's the purple love heart emoji or just get a little bit creative, tell me what your favourite colours would be for this prompt in the comment section down below using only emojis. Would you pick teal and purple like me? I absolutely love how this has turned out. I never ever doubted that I would love this look, but I really, really am just thrilled at how this has turned out. I'm gonna have to come up with something to film with this makeup look because I'm not letting this go to waste. I absolutely love it. But that is everything. I hope that you've had a fantastic, fantastic day. I hope you have been enjoying the week of colour so far, but until tomorrow, until day 4 for the week of colour, thank you ever so much for watching. Bye bye.